What's up, everyone, and welcome back to HateWatchers. Today we're breaking down and reviewing episode 6 of The Wheel of Time, The Shadow in the Night. Let's weave right into the breakdown. Spoilers ahead. We begin 95 years in the past in Topo Chico, where a young chipmunk supreme is cradling her baby chipmunk. And even back then, her screeching was powerful and annoying enough to kill not one, but 2 men. Then she wanders the streets looking for a potential baby daddy. But when she fails to find one, she nestles up against the statue's crotch and lays her head down on its penis. But she's awoken by a Shamael who's looking to get into the baby trade, and they quickly make a deal. In the present, Lanfear visits Chipmunk Supreme in her dream, and they get close to some lesbian interactions, but somehow they and the writers resist the urge. And the Spider Girl is tired of not getting tips. Wisdom, Elaine, Matt, and Min are playing dress-up, and it looks like they, and this entire town, all raided Johnny Depp's wardrobe. Over in this tarded place, Egg gets chewed out for dreamwalking on her own, yet she still wants to face Lanfear in the dream world. Meanwhile, Moraine is all tuckered out from her scissor sesh in the dream world the night before. And now she's dreaming of Lanfear. Everyone's just dreaming of Lanfear now. While all the women are napping in the middle of the day, Rand is with the Acolyte, visiting a farmer's market where he steals fruit from a little girl and then steals her spear.
He takes what he wants.
In Two Rivers, Perrin is faking being wounded to get out of military service, and the only Aes Sedai for hundreds of miles is selfishly dying instead of helping anyone. Then this guy, long forgotten by this show, and the incel Minotaurs, long forgotten by this show, look down menacingly on the town. And while we're on the subject of long-forgotten characters, Matt randomly finds the struggling musician from 2 seasons ago, Tom, Don't Call Me Bombadil, Marilyn. He's less than happy to see Matt, but apparently his happiness doesn't cost very much. Egg can't hold back a vicious fart that obliterates the Sand Ladies, and even she thinks it's kinda funny. Then in her dream, Egg confronts Lanfear from a position of strength, and she considers going the lesbian route like everyone else in this show. And now even Lanfear is getting in on the egg choking trend. Moraine is hiding her pearl from Rand, but he asks her what she saw in the rings and if he ever takes his choking fetish too far.
Do I kill Egwene?
Sometimes.
Rand rambles on about his inability to avoid reaching out and touching the taint of the dark power. The White Cloak guy is keeping warm at night by staying near Matt's still smoldering mom when Padon Fane arrives drenched in blood, and no one bothers to ask the obvious question.
What happened? Why are you all covered in blood?
Matt and the struggling musician have to save Elaine from some rowdy men. Then they break out into song because actors just can't help themselves, and it's literally just a song about boobs. Then Chipmunk Supreme gets some form of justice for the travesty that was Snow White when she murders one of the 7 dwarves. 2 creepy twins come to watch Priya die, but in actuality, they're magic, and Priya says like 12 words to them, and now they know how to heal her, which is as dumb as it sounds, and it makes the stupid one power of this universe look trivial. Perrin and Howie Deschanel trauma bond, and then they start to trauma bang when Priya walks in and says, "Looks like someone's about to come again." Johnny Depp's wardrobe manager and nipple polisher brings Matt one last accessory, this bracelet the group was kind of looking for. But several seconds later, the Spider Girl creeps in on Elaine and Wisdom, takes control of their minds, turns them into giggling schoolgirls, and they let her borrow their brand new jewelry. Elsewhere, Egg confronts Rand for banging Lanfear, but he comforts her by telling her her small brain can't comprehend his existence. Then Rand turns the tables, blaming her for not wanting him. But he says,
I am the Dragon Reaper.
And says, "I'm too good for you." But then he goes in for a half choke. This cute little moment is interrupted by an attack at the hands of one of the Forsaken, but the Acolyte and her burning lightsabers come to save the day. Yet still, the Forsaken ends up one-on-one with Rand, who calls on the One Power and just fucking annihilates this guy. But of course, using violence against evil people is bad or something, so the show has to kill a kid in response. Rand starts to go a little mad and tries to bring her back to life, but Moraine stops him, while the Acolyte and Egg are struggling with the smell of burnt kid. And then Howie and the Aiels find an invading army of incel Minotaurs as the episode comes to an end. Well, we've reached that point in the video where we have to decide if this episode was a great watch or a hate watch. And while this one is another hate watch overall, I will say that it had a few good moments, however brief they were. One scene in particular was pretty good, where Rand and Moiraine discuss the nature of the One Power, and Rand details his constant battle pushing back the tide and refusing to submit to the taint. And of course, this brief moment of Rand letting loose was fantastic. You could feel his incomparable power, and frankly, we need more reminders than this show gives us about just how powerful he is relative to everyone around him. Little moments like these make it clear that when the show can focus on its main story, it's not half bad. But of course, these moments are also bittersweet, because it reminds us of just what a colossal fuck-up they made with this adaptation and the potential that was wasted. And I risk sounding like a broken record when I'll say that there's still far too much time and emphasis being dedicated to third-tier and third-rate subplots. But the real broken record is this show that does nothing to correct its obvious problems 3 seasons into the series. Those decent scenes I mentioned took up all of about 3 minutes out of the hour runtime. Everything else amounted to maybe taking a few baby steps closer to becoming a coherent story. About 57 minutes of this episode didn't even manage to advance the story a tenth of what those 3 minutes did. The whole show is just bloated with waste. Instead of devoting more time to the important stuff, we spent half the episode with the loser crew here who decided to play dress up. I assumed that they were trying to accomplish something, but it's hard to believe that when half the group was drinking and chit-chatting at the bar. It feels like the creators are just killing time, and it makes you wonder why you're killing your time with the show. There was another half-cool moment when the Acolyte tried to save Rand and came in swinging these flaming swords, but if you look too closely, you discover that the special effects around the swords are as big as they are to distract you from how pitiful the actress's movements are. Also, I realized that I'm traumatized from this show. It was actually strange for me to see 2 heterosexual people almost have sex, and to see 2 women get their faces so close together without making out. Anyway, next week's episode is called Golden Eyes, so tune back in for that apparently James Bond themed episode. Was it weird for you to see a guy and a girl getting it on after the lesbian misadventures the show has harped on? Did you at least like seeing Rand flex his strength for once? Who will be the next character to inexplicably reemerge after 2 seasons? Let us know in the comments below. And remember to like the video if you liked it, and subscribe to HateWatchers to stay up to date on the Wheel of Time. Thank you for raiding Johnny Depp's closet with us today, and we'll catch you on the next one.